This year, we honor a truly wonderful artist, a versatile musician, a brilliant songwriter, an innovative vocalist, and an off-the-wall showman with the fastest mind in the West, East, North, and South. Like many of us, he grew up poor, but he knew how to make the most of it. Roger Miller used to say, if the wolf had ever come to our front door, he'd have had to brought a picnic lunch. I met Roger Miller almost 30 years ago when he guested on the Porter Wagoner Show. Oh, me. You know, when you want to find out about a person's past, you check with his old friends. That's the title of a Roger Miller classic. And our first guest is CMA's 1993 Hall of Fame's inductee, who sung it with Roger everywhere from Farm Aid concerts to black tie galas. Willie Nelson!
Old friends, swapping lives and loves, pitching popcorn to the doves. Old friends, old friends. I'm an old friend of Roger Miller's, you know. He used to say about my phrasing that I would flush to a different plumber. One time he was doing a song for Chet Atkins. He was singing in one key, playing in the other, but Chet thought it was great and went ahead and let him record a song that he wrote. I forgot the name of it, but anyway. Farron Young had to ask him for a... Farron Young knew that he was looking for a job one time, so he asked him, he said, can you play drums? And he said, well, when do you need one? And Farron said, Monday. He said, I can play drums.
In the summertime.
Then there was the audition for Chet Atkins, where Roger sang in one key and played guitar in another. But old friend Chet still recorded him singing his first solo hit, You Don't Want My Love.
Old friend Nora Wilson tells about the time in 1958 when he and Roger decided to become Bible salesmen. Well, that lasted all of about 2 days, and somebody asked him, well, why'd you quit? And Roger said, well, the Lord called us out of it. Besides old friends in the 80s and 90s, Roger made a lot of new friends, like Dwight Yoakam, who co-wrote It Only Hurts When I Cry with Roger. Dwight?
The only time I feel the pain is in the sunshine or the rain. And I don't feel no good at all unless you count the teardrops fall. I tell the truth, slip on the lie, but it only hurts me when I cry. That recording session was a Roger Miller party for us. When I mentioned he looked like he was on a diet, he said, yeah, that's right, I'm trying to get back to my original weight, 7 pounds and 10 ounces. When he told us he grew up in Eric, Oklahoma, we asked, well, what's it near, Roger? And he said it's close to extinction. The population is 1,500, and that includes rakes and tractors. But Eric, Oklahoma was big enough to produce a Sheb Wooley, a Jimmy Webb, and a Roger Miller.
Here's a man who knows just about everything Roger Miller ever said or sung or wrote, because he keeps his notes in a special book of Roger. Marty Stewart.
Well, you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. He was a total original. He brought all of those jazz licks and scat phrases to country music. He invented and broke a lot of rules around here. And this is one time he got completely carried away with sounds and notes and everything. He once said, I only do that when I'm nervous. Or I was so nervous that everybody thought I was waving at him. When I just recorded my first album, I was starving to death waiting on it to come out, and he offered me a job playing guitar in his band. Or as he put it, I've been noticing the buzzard circling your career. You might need a job. Or he drove the point on home by saying, I can see your career is gaining momentum as everything else does when it's going downhill. How about a job? But my favorite thing that Roger ever did was to walk up to Ronnie Millsap and put his hands over Ronnie's ears and say, guess who? I've also got loving notes in my book about Chet Atkins playing Amazing Grace at the 1992 memorial tribute to Roger at the Ryman, and about how some of us said goodbye.
He kicked open the doors into the places that country music's barreling through today.
I'm sure wherever that he is today, he's setting the pace for us right now.
But you could never imitate him. You sure couldn't duplicate him. I'm not even sure God could.
Let me sing you a little bit from Big River. Look out for me, oh muddy water.
In the mid-1980s, Rocco Landsman, a Roger Miller fan and former Yale School of Drama professor, decided Roger should write the score for a Broadway musical based on Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Well, it was called Big River, and at the pre-Broadway run in La Jolla, a young actor named John Goodman won the role of Huck's father, Pap.
I remember asking Roger how a country songwriter got involved with a Broadway musical, and he told me he never even read Huckleberry Finn, but Rocco made him an offer he couldn't understand. I'll always be grateful to Roger for his humor, his talent, for making sure I got back to Broadway one more time, and for giving my character Pap a very funny, very angry song to sing called Government. Later on in the run, when I had to leave for other commitments, Roger himself took over the role of Pap.
Well, you that-gum government, you sorry so-and-sos. You got your damn hands in every pocket of my clothes. Well, you that-gum,
In 1985, Big River won 7 Tony Awards, including one to Roger Miller for Best Score. Roger, you were always the best on all scores.
Roger was as vain as the rest of us, but he knew how to make fun of that, too. Roger once said, "Did you ever notice that a chicken can gain 40 pounds and never show it in the face?" And Roger liked trains, and here's a man who loves trains, last year's Hall of Fame inductee, Merle Haggard.
Engine number 9, coming down the railroad line. I know she got on in Baltimore. 110 miles ain't much distance, but it sure do make a difference. I don't think she loves me anymore. In the mid-1960s, Roger was at the top of the charts with one Miller-style hit after the other.
My pappy was a pistol, I'm a son of a gun. I said, dang me, they ought to take a rope and hang me.
It's my belief pride is the chief cause in the decline in the number of husbands and wives.
Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug,
Make you wanna holler, how do? Whip it, bit, 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 there, down. I hear tell you're doing well.
To show you how well things were going for Roger in 1965 and 66, he won an unprecedented 11 Grammy Awards. Leave it to Roger.
Well, have we left anything out? I believe we have. Just the most famous Roger Miller song of all. The #1 country hit that crossed over to the pop charts despite the British wave crashing down on our shores. The song that made Roger Miller a world country music icon. King of the Road.
Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. I'm at 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means, king of the road.
And the engine on every train,
all the children, all of the names,
Every handout in every town, and every lock that ain't locked when no one's around.
I say trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets.
I ain't got no cigarettes. I'm about
2 hours
of pushing broom buys. 8 by 12 4-bedroom. But I'm a man of means, by no means, the king of the road.
And Queens too. Oh, Roger Miller. My. To present a replica of the plaque that will go into the Hall of Fame, here's last year's inductee, Merle Haggard.
I'm very proud to introduce former first edition artist and the love of Roger's life, his beautiful wife, Mary Miller.
England swings like a pendulum, dude. Bobby's on bicycles 2 by 2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower, Big Ben. Girls are in the streets of the little children. England swings like a pendulum, dude. Bobby's on bicycles 2 by 2.
Thank you. Roger was a dreamer, and this would have been his wildest dream come true, this ultimate recognition of his songwriting and musical artistry. If he were here tonight, I know he'd want to thank his children, Alan and Rhonda, Sherry and Shannon, and our son Dean for carrying on the Miller musical tradition, and our son Adam and our daughter Taylor for their unconditional love and hugs and kisses. And I know he'd want to thank his mother, Lottie Burdine, for passing her funny bone on to him, and all his fans and friends who stuck with him, even though he was eccentric and a bit unorthodox, and as he said, 20 minutes ahead of his time. And I'd like to thank him for our wonderful life together. His genius will live on in many of us for a long time. So thank you, CMA, for this wonderful moment. Our family will never forget it. Thanks a lot.